Hey guys, it's Mike, and today we're discussing diphenhydramine or benadryl highs. So basically, it's been quite a while since I did a video about mind-altering substances, and this was on my list for quite a while. I wanted to make one about diphenhydramine, which most of you guys know as Benadryl, but it's also in other substances as well. And diphenhydramine is an antihistamine, which means basically if you're itchy or, you're allergic to something, it's gonna help you out. Or it can also be found in a lot of sleep aids, which is kind of funny because if you go to the store, now I'm serious about this. You go to the store, you compare two products, you will find that one of the products is for sleeping and another product is for allergies. And you're like, well, okay, so Benadryl, or at least the main thing that makes Benadryl, the main chemical compound, well, okay, so it can be used for multiple purposes. However, a lot of companies like to use Benadryl the same way ibuprofen is used, or all these other OTCs are used, where basically they throw in some other shit or they don't at all. It's literally the same thing, and they promote it with their brand. And it's not just $1 or two extra, it's like $5 extra for a couple pills. It's like, what the fuck? The prices don't make sense. So always be careful when you're buying and just know that it's kind of, a little bit fucky over there. But anyways, okay, so a lot of people like diphenhydramine or Benadryl because it's similar to like this weird dissociative state. Some people are like, well, DXM is cool. Okay, I'll try fucking Benadryl. It's similar to that, I hear. It's similar to weed. It's similar to being drunk. Like, it gets you high, bro. Yeah, it's OTC. So, unlike DXM, where DXM, it is OTC, but unlike DXM, they don't really check for Benadryl. Like, I don't think I've heard a story of people getting checked. Maybe if you look really, really young or something. But even with that, you can still kind of get away with it. So a lot of people buy it and they want to get high. They would just want to get fucking high, blast it off their brains, and Benadryl will achieve exactly what you want. But many people don't realize that it's going to go a lot fucking farther than you ever thought it would go. Basically, it's a deliriant where you take it and in certain high enough doses, you start hallucinating shit, which basically 99% is this horrible, thick, foggy, like haze-like state that you're in that is just sheer paranoia and these bad distortions, horrifying hallucinations of basically nightmares. Nightmare fuel is Benadryl, where, past a certain dosage, where I'm on Airwood right now and I'm reading that the threshold is 10 milligrams, where each of these little pink pills or the little capsules, it depends on what kind of Benadryl you take, each one usually has 25. Some may have up to 50 though, so just check. But if you're an average weighted person, the threshold is already reached with just one. You feel a little bit sleepier, a little bit dizzier, and this is kind of like Quaaludes, if you remember the Wolf of Wall Street scene where it's like, if you just wait 10 minutes, where, okay, it's not 10 minutes in this case, but if you just wait and get past the really sleepy phase, then you get really high. And then you go into this phase where it's like, you're not sleepy, you're freaking the fuck out. Because if you take too much, oh, it does the exact opposite of make you sleepy. You're gonna be like, going all fucking retard mode, just like, what the fuck? Did I hear something? I see myself. Did he say something? And it's like these weird ass fucking hallucinations that you do not want to see. Unless the only people I would really kind of recommend this to are experienced users who already kind of like are into that shit. It's kind of like masochistic, but some people like doing that to himself. So hey, if that's your thing, go all into it. But of course, you have to understand the full risks and dangers of doing that. But yeah, it's not going to be fun Unless, you take like two or three, because at that point, that's still like a light dose. Airwood's saying up to 150. So, if you have one that's like 25 and you're a big person, even fucking 10, maybe, even 10, it's not going to do too much to you. You're still going to be fine. I think when I was like fucking 240 pounds or 250 pounds, 6'3" and shit, I tested out like 12, and right around there I realized, oh, that was the threshold for where shit starts to go like from really cool to like what the fuck. And I stopped at that point. And as I kept losing weight, now it's like I only take a couple, but I don't even trip. Like I never went into it wanting to trip. I never went into a full out trip because I don't want to experience one. And I just don't see what the fun in that could be. But the one time I went up to 12, it was just an experiment to see, oh, what is my limit right before shit starts to go insane. And, up until that point, where, of course, some people's limits will definitely be smaller since they might be smaller people. Basically, up until that point, it was kind of okay. Like, breathing just felt thick. Like the air was very thick, and like, it felt kind of like sometimes you get this when you're stoned where you have problems breathing a little bit, or at least you think you do, and you kind of can't get over it until like you wake up the next morning and like, oh wow, I was just fucking retarded. But it's kind of like a mix of paranoia, anxiety, and just these random ass fucking thoughts where it's like, oh, I can't fucking breathe, oh, I feel weird. Sometimes your legs may get shaky. It's just this kind of not pleasant physical high. But apart from the physical stuff, is the mental effects where, oh boy, I have not personally seen this shit because I never wanted to. But I'm sure I was very close to it, especially with like the 12 pill mark, where, I immediately like started hearing shit. Like I was just like, well, who the fuck? Who? And I saw like little dots and shit. I was just like, oh, and my mind kind of started running wild. I was like, yeah, time to cut it off now. And I kept repeating to myself, like, oh, this is just the benadryl. It's just the benadryl. This is what it's supposed to do. Oh, it's going to be okay, whatever. And I got out fine. Like, everything was fine. It was so uncomfortable throughout the night. I was like, well, this is fucking retarded. And there's a lot of reports of people taking 20, 30. I mean, some of my friends have done 20 pills, and it was not pleasant. And the people I know in real life and the reports I read online all kind of seem to correlate with one another. I've read some really bad shit where people went to the hospitals because they took like fucking to the ER in hospitals, and they took like 20, 30, some people even 40 pills, which you don't want to do that. And at that point, they started seeing really, really fucked up shit. Where a lot of people have the same similar effects where they like start hallucinating scorpions and insects, and it's kind of like meth mode, like, oh, I fucking see insects all over me. Ah, it's like the weird shit. Like, you don't want to be seeing scorpions running around your bathroom. One of the funniest stories I ever read was this guy like started fucking hallucinating that it was something to do with his balls, and he got sandpaper and started like grinding it on his dick, and his parents woke up because it was in the middle of the night and he was running around naked and shit, and they're like, what the flying fuck are you doing? They took him to the hospital. I believe that because I never have personally done that myself, but I definitely had a couple in moments where I was tripping on acid, or even just drunk, where I was just running around naked and vomiting or doing retarded shit, or like lying on the floor like fucking seizing and shit. So like I have some experience with that. I'm it happens. It happens to the best of us sometimes. Whoops. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like, if you're taking 20 pills, you're gonna. Some of the weird shit I heard was that it feels like there's certain scenarios that you just completely hallucinate. They like never happened, but you're super convinced that they did. For example, one guy was talking about how his dad, he had a 1 hour long conversation with his dad, and then his dad rings up and he's like, wait, dad, you weren't here? Like you're still driving just now back home? Like he's like, what the fuck? Like who was that I was talking to? oh, it was a hallucination. And it's like really weird where like certain moments like you skip ahead in time and it just doesn't seem fun unless that's your thing. So that is my little experience slash trip report slash video about benadryl diphenhydramine. Try it at your own risk. I think it's fun if you take a couple and listen to music because it kind of is similar to like this drunken stone state, except it's much heavier where like it's not as fun. Like you don't want to be doing it out in public because you're gonna be like fucking nodding off or some shit. Okay, you're not gonna be nodding, but it's still this not too pleasant state. But that's basically it. Diphenhydramine, and just don't abuse OTCs because marijuana is so much easier to get. Like, fuck that. I take Benadryl because it really helps with the nights where I take modafinil. I haven't had one of these in a while, but you know, some nights when you take modafinil, or if you take stimulants or any of that to get work and shit done, or you can't fall asleep, like it is actually a good sleeping aid. Although marijuana is better because it has less side effects. But some of the side effects also are like, you know, you may wake up constipated or you have stomach problems or, you know, shit like that the next day. Also, you're still kind of like in this loopy state where you can't fully think. So don't take it at school. Do not fucking take this at school. Like, I've seen so many fucking bad trip reports at school. Again, do not fucking take this at school, at work, at, you know, driving a vehicle. Don't fucking do that. So, yeah, that's my video, and don't fucking do it unless you know what you're doing, unless you're prepared for it. And also, you know, if you like paranoia, to each his own. I respect that, but I don't understand you. I'm trying to. I'm trying to. Alright, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share. And my name is Mike, and we shall see you again in 2 days. Peace.